We're joined now by two people who've been digging into these No Kings protests. Asra Nomani, editor with The Pearl Project. Jason Rantz, Seattle Red talk show host. Asra, let's start with you. Are these, protests simply, organic, people, emailing maybe on social media and so forth? So it all just came together, grassroots from the people?
Absolutely not. This is a protest industry. And so what I did is what I've learned to do in journalism, which is follow the money. And I established that there's 260 organizations that were behind this No Kings protest. And as Jenica Pounds, a computer scientist with Data Republican, said to me, they have built an empire, these left-wing organizations, using nonprofit status to use the machine that we have in America to wage a war, a political war on Donald Trump. And so everything was orchestrated. It was political theater from beginning to end, from social media. And the real question for people is the fact that these organizations we're living rent-free, basically tax-free in America, pulling off these protests.
Yeah, it seems like, Jason, there are hundreds of organizations behind these protests. It's not one particular organization, but it is like, I really think it's actually their social life. I don't know if because we don't have clubs, community civics organizations anymore, they think those are racist. I don't know. But this is as close to church as many, not all, but many of the protesters who showed up really have anymore.
Yeah, they don't believe in God, but they do believe in this kind of activism, and this is what they do professionally. And they're taking advantage of different tax codes like 501c4 status, which a lot of these organizations are. Those are supposed to be social welfare organizations, and they're allowed to get political, but they don't have to disclose their donor list, which is how all of this dark money ends up getting funneled here. I mean, in the case of No Kings, you have Indivisible, which is the primary organization behind it. It gets funding, however, from places like the George Soros Foundation, his Open Society foundations. They're getting that kind of money, and then they're getting institutional support from all of these other groups that Asra just pointed out. Everything from the mainstream stuff like the ACLU, but also to groups like the Communist Party of America, where they might not donate directly to Indivisible, but what they do is they share their contact list, or they reach out to their contact list, say, hey, show up at so-and-so for this event. And the money that they do end up spending, these groups in general, is for like signage, things like that, but also the professional activists who show up, who then use this to get more contact information for the people who show up, and then solicit for funds for donations from them.
Yeah, Open Society's foundation, by the way, gave us a statement saying, we support a wide range of independent organizations that work to deepen civic engagement through peaceful democratic participation. Our grantees make their own decisions about their work consistent with the law and the terms of their grant agreements. I don't think Asra, a lot of pro-life organizations that were truly fighting something noble, the slaughter of millions of babies in the womb. I don't think they got any money from George Soros. I certainly don't think parents groups that you helped launch years ago in Fairfax County, Virginia, I don't think they got any help. Only a particular ideology gets help from the Open Society Foundation.
Yeah, I mean, they are basically fueling the machine. And Jason mentioned the 501c4 organizations that are political organizations, allowed to do a limited amount. But according to my data analysis, about 100 of the organizations are 501c3. And they are supposed to do very little political work. They are absolutely supposed to be nonpartisan. But some of the names of these groups is literally resist Trump. That's not very subtle there. And then build the resistance, along with, as Jason was mentioning, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They bring the foot soldiers to this movement and create this myth of the marching millions. And I want everybody to know that, this is theater. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's an industry, and it must be checked.
Well, Jason, finally, do you think, as Trump said, this in any way is representative of a wide swath of the American electorate?
I think he's correct in that it clearly isn't. I mean, I heard a lot of the language of like, this is what democracy looks like. No, democracy looks like the Electoral College map, where you had 77 million voters who voted for Donald Trump and 312 Electoral College votes. That's what democracy looks like. These are folks who are protesting democracy because they're upset that they lost the last election. And the good news is, despite a lot of people showing up, they're not really going to get anything done here.
Yeah, sour grapes didn't sound too good for a day of protest, so they just called it No Kings, because no one believes in that rally that Donald Trump is actually a monarch. It's the most ridiculous branding I've ever seen. Asra, Jason, thank you both.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.